Hi, I'm Garrick Hagan, big Darklighter, and a proud member of the Rebel Legion. And they are mounting a big campaign now for Save the Children. They kind of asked me if I had any comics that influenced me. Well, I'm not a big comic collector, but there is one comic that I'm very proud to be featured in. And you probably guessed what it is. It's part of the Star Wars Empire series. And it's the one on the big Darklighter. Now, I just think it's great, partly because it's given me information that I didn't have before about the character of Biggs, about some of the past history. Also, because Doug Wheatley has drawn some fantastic images of all the characters that are involved in the big scene in Tatooine, what we now call the cutscene, because it's no longer in the film. But these characters are realized in the comic really beautifully by Doug Wheatley, and also they're given very good dialogue by Paul Chadwick. And what it is kind of a reminder of our history, everything that made us, what the dynamics are between the four or five of us, and our relationship to Luke. It's really quite telling. Of course, it goes on to where I've gone to the academy. First of all, I'm trying to convince Luke to come to the academy. And then it goes on to the history of me being at the academy and some of the tensions underneath and the dreams that I have to make things better in the galaxy. It's a big dream. But Luke is being influenced by me, maybe subconsciously, and gets away from the farm eventually and joins us, not on the Randicliptic where I've been posted, but I join the rebels and he joins us later. And we become what we later call a couple of shooting stars that'll never look back. And we have that famous line, it'll be like old times. This comic is going to stay with me. I've collected others in the series, and I hope if you haven't got it, you get a chance to see it later. And also that you have a chance to contribute to the Save the Children Fund and support the great Rebel Legion. So may the Force be with them and with you all. Take care.
Hello there. Adrian Arcega here from the Bagong Pag-asa base in the Philippines, and you're watching Rebel Reads. And for today, we shall be talking to the creative director of Fusion Wayang Kulit, based in Malaysia. He's also the founder and head of Action Tintoy Studio, which does character design for games and cartoons. And this Action Tintoy's expertise has reached, the entire globe. It's gone across the globe and back. And a lot of their clients are based in Singapore, China, Hong Kong, Sweden, Canada, and USA. But yes, this person is within our context is most known for his Star Wars related work for Fusion Wayang Kulit. And we'd like to introduce to you Mr. Tintoy Chuo. Hello there.
Hello, Tintoy here. It's good to see you, Adrian, and thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
The honor's mine. I'm really honored to have been tasked by the Rebel Command to interview you. I love what you've done. I love what you guys have done. Not just for Star Wars, but for pop culture and Southeast Asian culture as a whole. And we will be discussing that in a bit. So, earlier we mentioned that you're the creative director of Fusion Wayang Kulit. Can you tell us more about it? What is Wayang Kulit?
Right. Okay. Wayang kulit actually it means shadow puppet, and the word wayang is show. Kulit is skin, so it's kind of like animal skin show because the puppet is cut or craft using say cow hide, which is leather, and then we actually present the show behind a light under the canvas. So it's shadow puppet because the audience will be sitting in front of the screen and they'll be watching the shadows show. So that is what do you call that? A very quick description of what shadow puppet is, and is a this type of art been coming to Malaysia from India about 500 years ago.
Oh, well, now that you mentioned that, what makes the craft of Malaysian shadow puppeteering different from our other Southeast Asian neighbors?
There are a few so-called more significant elements. Number one, the shadow puppet are more muscular compared to some other country, and usually they have one movable arm, and the inside arm, will be holding a tool or a weapon. That is a representative of what the occupation of this character is. So because we are talking about shadow puppet is flat, so when you put it on the screen, there are limited way to see what the character is. So usually they will try to actually, in this case, they have the left. Let's say if I'm a archer, then I'll have a bow and arrow. If I warrior, I might have sword. If I'm the princess, sorry, I will have the fan. If I'm the farmer, then I'll have a farming tools. So the inside hand will carry something. So as a representative. And the leg, usually they will be standing, the main character will be standing on some kind of the dragon. That actually represent the status of the character, so that some will be more detailed dragons, then it's like, or maybe prince, princess, or the bad guy, the lord, the evil lord, things like that. When doing performance, audience can see color. So that is one of the interesting part about the Malaysian version. I think there are quite a few countries. The color is visible.
Earlier, you mentioned that these puppets were made of leather, but I've seen your puppets and they're very colorful. So how do you actually show the color through the puppets? Considering, they're made of leather and you need to color them. So is the leather actually so stretched that it's translucent and the colors are showing, or how exactly does that go?
All right. Okay, I talk about the leather first. When the leather, the way they make, they have to stretch it and dry under the sun for like 2-3 days, so that it's flat. And then, of course, they do away the hair. Then when we do coloring, we use art line ink, which is translucent, and then we use marker, both also translucent, because sometimes some country they will use some kind of gold paint, gold powder, whatever. Those material are beautiful. It's just that is opaque, so the light doesn't go through. So when you place it on the screen, we see the shadow is all black. So that is the different version. For our case, we use a lot of marker and they're all translucent.
So, what other manner of preparation are needed for a standard wayang kulit performance?
Well, I mean, puppet is just one of the element for the shadow puppet show. Usually, the actual shadow puppet performance, there will be 5 layers. Okay, so the first one is the screen, which is a big piece of white canvas. Then we have the puppet, and then we have a light, okay, to cast the shadow. We have the master puppeteer, then we have the musician. So with these 5 layers, then we can categorize this as a so-called actual wayang kulit performance. And when we need to prepare is, of course, the story. So we need to, the master puppeteer is the one who actually narrate everything, and he's the one to perform everything. So he's the most important person in the what do you call that, in the performance, because he need to say everything, he need to narrate, and he need to remember, and he need to perform. Then he'll be sitting in front, and then at the back there will be like depending 7 to 10 musicians, and they will be playing the music, and they will actually go with the master puppeteer will give the cue to them to play what song, or play what special drum effect or special sound effect.
Interesting. All right. So, we're talking to you because you've been quite known to do your shadow puppet interpretations of the Star Wars stories. So, what is it with the Star Wars story that lends itself to wayang kulit?
Right. You mean how we started this, right?
Yeah. How you guys started it? What led to the decision to do Star Wars?
Right. Okay. This is a bit long. So everything started in 2012. So when we were invited to participate in an art exhibition in Malaysia, and it's organized by a good friend of mine, Si Juan, and the exhibition is called Designers Weekend. So I mean, because I know the person who run this exhibition, so he come and tell us. He say, "Okay, I know you, Tin Toy. I know you. So you guys better do something new for my exhibition. Don't recycle your work." So I have no choice to create something new, and I got this idea of combining shadow puppet and pop culture many years back, like maybe in 2008, I guess. So I just keep it for inside the cabinet for a while. I say, okay, since you want something new, and visit that idea and try to do something for this. And to me, it's just like, well, let's try, And since I know him, let's just try something. And okay, then I was thinking, okay, what should I do with Shadow Puppet? So I was thinking, okay, I'm a big Star Wars fan, and combining Star Wars and Shadow futuristic, So if you combine, we might get some crazy ideas, though. And I said, okay. Then I said, okay, I'll do it. And me work with a good friend of mine. His name is Teck Huat. He's a designer, a very skillful designer. So I invite him, say, hey, I want to do some crazy idea. Will you join me? So I said, okay, let's do it. And it take about 2.5 months for us to create two prototype, I should say, of the puppet, which is the Darth Vader inspired and the Luke Skywalker inspired puppet, the dark and the light side puppet for the exhibition.
This is interesting because Malaysian shadow puppet plays, or actually Southeast Asian shadow puppet plays, tend to be geared towards morality tales, stories of good versus evil, that sort of thing. So,
yes.
Did you find a commonality with Star Wars in that regard when you reinterpreted Star Wars in shadow play format?
Sure. When I started it, I didn't think too much. I was like, hey, that's a cool idea, let's do it. But then when I started doing it, I find out that actually the traditional shadow puppet story, one of the very famous one will be based on Ramayana, so the Indian epic. So Ramayana is actually light versus dark, So I feel like, hey, that is so suitable for Star Wars when they're talking about the light side fighting, the force fighting with the dark side, So it's like good versus evil, light versus dark. So it's like, hey, we find the right topic to start with. So, and then everything just fell nicely, like, okay, for Darth Vader, we just use the bad guy, which is the Ramayana, as the blueprint. And then the Luke Skywalker, we just use Sirama, which is the good guy, as blueprint. So it just fit very nicely.
So you renamed the characters in the appropriate manner?
Yes, we have to, because we feel that since we are doing it shadow puppet, Malaysian shadow puppet, let's do it the proper way by naming each of them. You know, let's say for Darth Vader inspired puppet, we call it Sangkala Vede. Sangkala means a very powerful general, so that's what he is. You know, and then Vede is just the slang, the one of the dialect, no, slang for Vader, so we call it Vede. You know, then for the Luke Skywalker, we actually call him Perantau Langit. Perantau Langit means someone who walk in the sky, you know. So Skywalker, we didn't put the Luke, we just call him Luke Perantau Langit, because a good friend of mine, Sean, is okay, let's use this. I say, oh, that is a very good name. So so that's how we come up with the name.
Wow. So do you have to to talk to Lucasfilm regarding this, or did you have to coordinate?
There are two ways to do this. Number one is like I have this idea, like, hey, I get this crazy idea, and I do it this way. But that might contradict, or it might be in contrast, you know, with the traditional performance or traditional way. But the second way is do it the respectful way, do it the proper way. Although it's harder, much harder. But I decide to go for the proper way, that I work with the master. So each of the puppet and the performance, all of them are approved or actually done accordingly to the principle of Shadow Puppet Malaysia. You know, like the character, they will design that way, you know, and when they perform, I mean, this way, he say things in this manner, everything. Because anyhow, I need the master puppeteer to perform. So I cannot say, let's do some disco or whatsoever, you know. Okay. So it have to be done in the proper way. So it take about 10 months actually for us to make the first performance. There are so many challenges inside there, you know. We have nobody have done it before. We can't Google it, you know. So we have to, whatever that we think of, challenges that we face, we have to solve it by ourselves.
So speaking of those challenges, what were these challenges that you faced when you decided to tackle Star Wars in shadow puppet form?
Okay, the challenges come in everywhere, in every step actually. Mm-hmm. So it's considered that is a lot of challenges. Things like, let's say when we design the puppet, you know, he has laser gun. So how are we gonna having them fighting using laser gun? Because there is no laser gun in the traditional puppet, you know. So we have to think of another way to change it. And then say spaceship, because they have like 24 been chased by Star Destroyer. There is no spaceship or aeroplane in the traditional form. So we have to crack our head to find solution. And then we are doing things like we want to have some color or can have some graphic for the background. It's done in a traditional way. Design wise, technically, you know, everything is very challenging. Even the sound, how are we going to make the Darth Vader like magnetic voice? We can't do it. So we have to have my sound engineer, where the voice go inside the PC, and then it will you'll be broadcast out in a digital with the voice effect or voice changer. So a lot of challenges, and all these things, it has to be done following the principle of shadow puppet. So we have to do in an angle where it's called enhancement. So enhancement is not changing. Enhancement is allowed. So maybe I give you an example. Some people will ask us like, hey, you use the special effect for the voice changer, that's wrong, or things like that. But actually it's not, because in the way the master talk, is the same. It's just that it go through that might go through the PC, then they digitize. It happened because last time, in say 100 years ago, there is no mic, so the master puppeteer have to shout his lung out, But after that, there is speaker, loudspeaker. So if you talk, then more people can hear. So that is already a form of enhancement. Okay, so now what we do, we just add a voice effect, so that is still fall under enhancement. That is allowed. So it's not as straightforward like, okay, we have a problem, we solve it. We have to ask, go back to the traditional way and ask, is this allowed? Yeah.
So how about narratively? Are there any story points that you had to adjust to because of certain cultural sensibilities or something like that?
Okay, for our performance, we actually based on A New Hope, which is Star Wars Episode 4 at A New Hope, because we find that is the beginning of Star Wars in 1977. So what we did also is the beginning of a new step of this shadow puppet. And actually the narration is not too bad. As I said, in A New Hope, everything is good versus evil,
right,
and it is quite direct. The way we have to plan it, we have to shuffle them a little bit, because in cinema you can cut the scene. Like say now I'm looking at Vader, next we can have it look at Princess Leia, next we can cut Obi-Wan is saving Luke. But in Shadow Puppet, you can't do that. You have to have people coming in the screen, do what they need to do, go out, then change scenes.
I guess your performances are they actually online, or you only do that exclusively as a live performance because of the tradition?
Well, I mean, we as long as we perform live with a musician at the back, the master is performing live, you can actually record it and you can project it live. But usually when we were invited to perform, usually it's live performance, because it's different. It's like you want to see that singer live is different. So usually we perform live. Of course, under this pandemic, sometimes we are requested to perform, but then we have to record it, pre-recorded. Like just like 2 months ago, we actually record a session for a German webinar. I mean, like when we perform in a few places like Singapore, Thailand, and German and Austria. Sometimes the 501st friends, they came in their costume and watch it. Awesome. It's so surreal. Like in Malaysia, the 501st Malaysia, they came, Singapore, Thailand, So when we perform in German, it's very interesting, because not many people in the Germany understand Malay language. But because of Star Wars, they kind of know what is it. And so when they watch it, they kind of understand it better. If I can actually do this, so it will actually bring them to come and watch this art form. And I think this formula works. So it worked locally and it worked in overseas. Say people in Austria and German, they're excited. They come and say, I know this. This is Darth Vader. I know this. This is Luke Skywalker. So if they don't really understand what we are saying, it's fine. They are looking at the action. They kind of get it.
Well, this is Rebel Reads. So Rebel Reads is all about stories and storytelling. And earlier you mentioned that there you saw some parallelisms between the Ramayana and Star Wars. Are there other parallels that you've seen in the Star Wars story? And between the Star Wars story and other Malaysian folk stories, for example, and can you tell us more about them?
There is a couple of Malaysian folk tale, but actually, what we are talking in general will be say good versus evil, but there are different ways. Some is like about phoenix, and the monster from the lake, things like that. But I think I feel that the main story for the Shadow Puppet, which is the Ramayana, is the most suitable. Like when I buy the the blueprint, which is the Star Wars Malaysian shadow puppet, then good. Evil, light, dark was like, hey,
Yeah.
this is so suitable, you know. Actually get the traditional puppet and reference it and based on it. One of them will be C3PO. He's a talkative character and he is timid. He talk a lot, no action. Okay, so we have a funny comical character in Shadow Puppet. It's called timid, not much action. So I feel that this two is similar. So what we did was we combined them into a character which I call it CP Long, you know, like C3PO what long, you know, and he have big nose, he have big tummy, similar to the traditional puppet, you know. So we are so lucky that when we get this kind of so-called character, it's like, hey, you know, I have had to do like R2D2. We don't have a character without hand. R2 is without hand, and he don't have neck. So that will be hard. As I said, there are a couple of traditional Malaysian story, but I didn't really use any of them for this my Star Wars project. Is mainly Ramayana.
Each country's folk traditions are part of a greater cultural fabric, a greater cultural story, if you will. Do you think that today's pop culture, today's pop culture stories like Star Wars, for example, and even the stories that Star Wars has influenced, do you think that these stories are going to be the folk tale of the future? Given that you're merging, folk art with pop culture today, do you think that Star Wars stories is actually, in the future, that will be our folk tale or our descendants' folk tales?
Well, the answer is definitely yes. In fact, we don't need to talk about future, it's already happening now. Star Wars is about 45 years already, and you can see off and on TV series, shows of people code using Star Wars phases, and they're using Star Wars reference. Like even in the Captain America's Civil War, when Spider-Man was fighting Ant-Man, he's using the AT&T technique, and he just said, and sometimes Simpsons have Vader, and there's so many shows, or whatever entertainment related thing are already using Star Wars as reference. So definitely, I believe in 20 years time, it's a book like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's happening now. It's happening now.
All right, so let's go to lighter topics. What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Okay, my favorite movie will be Return of the Jedi, Episode 6. That is the movie that I really really love, and yeah. That's the yes, I saw that poster. Fantastic. When I saw A New Hope, I love it, but I was very young. I watched it in cinema, so I love it, but I can't remember everything. So when Empire Strikes Back is out, of course we love it, but Empire Strikes Back is considered a sad story for rebels. Like somebody lost his hand, some Han Solo taken away. I think I developed depression from that time. Like, how could you have something that's nobody done that in the world done that? Like the first time there's a so-called this heroic movie where the good guy lost.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, it actually impacted me quite a lot. So we have to wait for another 3 or 2 years for Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So when Return of the Jedi up, we have the good guy win, and Luke managed to destroy, together with Darth Vader, destroy Emperor, so it's such a big relief to me. But recently, there is one movie that I have to say that it is that high, which is Rogue One. Oh my God, I love Rogue One a lot. The way it is done, like Gareth Edwards did a good job and the team did a good job. But Return of the Jedi still have a special place in my heart, so it's still number one.
Return of the Jedi was the very first movie I saw in the theater, but I hardly remember anything about it. I just remember Jabba eating that little thing. I was like, Mommy, why is he eating a frog? I remember that and green lightsabers. Those are
Yes,
the two
yes.
things I remember from the cinema. I think after that, my mom gave me a Return of the Jedi pop-up book because apparently it stuck to it stuck with me. So yeah, Return of the Jedi is really that's it.
Return of the Jedi is one of the movie that I can watch over again. Even now with my kids, they like, I like to watch Ewok, So it's definitely very good.
Wait, so have you reinterpreted Return of the Jedi in shadow puppet form?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
We did A New Hope, and then we did some Mandalorian, but we haven't gone through. But there are a lot of people asking, like, can I have Yoda? Can I have Boba Fett? Can I
Oh yeah.
we haven't reached there. Yeah. But we hope to.
Because I'm kind of curious how you're gonna find how you're going to find a way to introduce the whole Luke and Leia brother sister kind of thing in a shadow puppet Return of the Jedi, considering uh, in,
Well,
in your version of A New Hope, did Luke and Leia kiss?
no.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Those are sensitive matter we don't do, So
yeah, I had to ask because there was that, before they swung in the death.
yeah.
So if you do Return of the Jedi, how are you gonna explain the brother sister thing?
Actually, explaining is not too hard, because explaining means is one human telling something to another human, or one alien telling to another robot. They are character, so it's not hard. The hard part is the space battle, when you're talking about, like, a lot of spaceship flying. So that is out of the context of shadow. Okay, human have two hands. The best the puppet can hold 3 puppet in one hand and 3 puppet in another. So you have maximum 6 puppet moving at once. Right. So when you're talking about space battle, we have like 50 X-Wing and 60 TIE fighter. That is the challenge to do.
Oh my! I was just about to ask, like, if you guys did episode 3, how would you do the Battle of Coruscant? All thousands of ships all over.
To be honest, Adrian, I don't know. Most probably, I say, okay, we are going for a break. Watch this session, the actual footage, and I'll come back after that.
So is it part of the tradition that you just only have to have one puppeteer?
Yes. In the you're right. In the tradition, you only have one, but sometimes we have two. Two, we call it, one is apprentice, one is the master. So, but they take turn to appear to perform at any one time. Example, say for some scene, the student apprentice will perform, and then after that, you go to the master will come in to perform the more difficult or more signature scene. So it could be 2 or 3. 2 apprentice, 1 master, but they take turn. So at every one time, there will be only one master puppeteer performing.
So is there a tradition wherein the apprentice, the master, like a Jedi tradition, that the master takes on an apprentice and the apprentice eventually becomes the master, and the apprentice has to the new master has to train another apprentice. So is there an ongoing thing there that just to keep Wayang Kulit alive? Is there a
Yes.
what I'm trying to ask is if there's a continuity of mentorship?
Yes. My master actually training people to to become a master puppeteer artist at this time. So, but the progress is, I mean, he's training, but the progress is slow.
So you really have to keep on performing to develop interest so that you'll find more apprentices.
Yeah, I mean, we are doing, I can say, I mean, better for two ends. Number one, the interest in public, the general public, are getting lesser. That's why we going all this Star Wars inspired story to attract them. But on one hand, it's like we want to train more apprentices, but there are less interest in that because they might not see the future is not as bright, things like that,
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess this is also an issue of economics for the apprentices.
Yeah, it's not like some type of say singer. Okay, everybody loves singer, then is a very good profile, nice good profile type of job,
I really want to watch more of that. If this pandemic can be over quickly, just so I could fly there and be immersed in
You my VIP. You sit in the front row.
but yeah, more lighter things. Quick draw questions. Favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, it has to be someone who's holding this. Obi-Wan Kenobi or from A New Hope. Yeah, I love Ben Kenobi a lot, and that's even I have this Funko, but I modify it with the eyebrow. So it look. I love Obi-Wan Kenobi, the older one. They still Luke Skywalker is I love Skywalker. If you ask me more detail, that will be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
All right. Favorite Star Wars weapon?
Lightsaber.
Of course.
No doubt about it.
All right. Favorite Star Wars vehicle?
Speeder bike.
Speeder bike.
I love speeder bike although to be honest, having an X-Wing is much more easier. You can go to another planet. But the notion of a bike that runs so fast, I still love that thing,
Right.
Speeder bike.
Favorite Rebel costume? Sorry if I go first. I'm just asking because this is the Rebel Legion, guys.
No, I love all. I think I will love the what do you call that? Who is I think Obi-Wan what do you call that? The robe and the costume because it's easier to wear.
Right.
Yeah.
How about favorite Star Wars planet?
I would say Naboo because there's a lot of things there. Things are civilized. Everything is nice. Although more interesting planet will be Tatooine, but I don't want to be in the Tatooine. I hate sand.
It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere.
Yeah, everything is rough. It's interesting, but you ask me, I'll prefer to stay in Naboo. I'll off and on. I'll go Tatooine to buy something.
Have you been to Lake Como in Italy where they shot Lake Naboo?
No, I have not.
Me neither. But I've always wanted to go there. Just in my Anakin Skywalker outfit, and and pretend go with my wife who has her own Padme Lake dress.
Ooh.
And we want to reenact the I hate sand moment.
Yeah.
On Lake Naboo.
Yeah.
I hate sand.
Yeah. The thing is when there's something we feel similar. It's a movie for Rogue One. Rogue One, when he's shooting in the planet, there's a lot of coconut tree, beach, things like that. Yeah. That feel like there's many places in Malaysia, I think Southeast Asia have that as well. I believe Philippines. Like there's Pulau Tioman, that is the park which is like outside, 10 kilometers away from me. This is the jungle that I'll be passing by when I go to work. So that I feel like I can go there to feel like I'm in the Star Wars world. Rogue One.
Before we go for our next for our next feature here in Rebel Reads, can you tell us about your upcoming projects and where people can find you on social media?
Oh, okay. You can find us in Facebook, Instagram, YouTube with the same handle, which is Fusion Wayang Kulit. We are there, and of course, let me show you some of the. I'm working on the next project, which is no Star Wars related, but this one. Let me show you.
Oh,
I have the power.
oh,
Yeah. So it's He-Man. So we are working on him. Now this is Star Wars related.
oh, Yoda. What's your?
No.
Oh wait, no, it's Grogu. It's Grogu. Oh, sorry.
Yes,
sorry.
it's Grogu.
It's Grogu. Yeah. Oh, wow.
We are sitting on his floating device. So and a very small mini hand.
Oh, wow. Do you have a different name for Grogu there? Have you renamed him?
It we call him Buddha Gogu. Buddha is kid, because Gogu is a unique name. It's a bit hard, so we just find and Gogu is very organic though, very traditional. Yeah, so we just call him Buddha Gogu. So it's kids, the child, So we have the Mandalorian puppet as well, but it's currently exhibiting in Loyal Selangor, so it's there. So I don't have it with me. So yeah, so there's working on He-Man, and then there's a few more things working, but it's not confirmed. So
and this exhibit that you have right now is ongoing, and people
it will be heading for a they are having the Star Wars exhibition for a few months in Loyal Selangor, but unfortunately currently it's pandemic, so they closed so as well. And I saw the pewter lightsaber is fantastic, so should go check that out as well.
All right. Hopefully this pandemic goes away so that we can all go there and see the exhibit and see your work and see your performances firsthand. All right. Thank you very much, Tintoy. Thank you very much for gracing Rebel Reads. And we hope to see more of your work in the future. Thank you for spreading the love of Star Wars in this very new yet traditionally classic form of way. Yeah, and you have any parting message for our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to thank Rebel Legion for having me. It's such an honor to be here talking to you guys. And well, all I can say is, may the Force be with you. That's all.
All right, and that's it for our interview with Mr. Tintoy Chuo of Fusion Wayang Kulit here on Rebel Reads. And don't leave yet, guys. There's more. This is Adrian Arcega from the Bagong Pag-asa base in the Philippines. Signing.
Hey everybody, this is Katherine Winchell with the Rebel Legion Administrative Council, and today I'd like to recommend the book Shatterpoint to you. It has just come out with a new edition and a new audiobook as part of the Essential Legends collection. It is a really fantastic story about Mace Windu during the Clone Wars dealing with a really difficult and complicated situation. It is a really deep book. It's dark, but it is really just so good. You find out more about where Mace came from and about his relationship with his Padawan, Depa Billaba. So please check it out, and as always, may the Force be with you. Hello, Rebels. This is Katherine Winchell, the Executive Director of Rebel Reads and member of the Rebel Legion Administrative Council. This year, Rebel Reads is supporting two different charities. We're having a fundraiser for Save the Children, and we're doing something a bit different for So Powerful. Ariana Tazzi of Rebel Legion Italian Base has created the art for an enamel pin for this event, which is available exclusively to Rebel Legion members and those in our sister clubs. It's an exclusive design due to the copyright agreements that we have with Lucasfilm. You can find the link to purchase and more details about who is eligible in the main post and comments of this broadcast. For those who can buy, all proceeds from the pin will go to So Powerful, which is an organization that works in Zambia to provide girls with reusable menstrual supplies so that they can stay in school all month long. Without these supplies, most girls stay home from school when they're on their period because all they have to use are rags. This is extremely damaging to their education and leads to a higher rate of failure on the exam they take to be able to move on to secondary high school. The proceeds from the sale of each pin is enough to bring critical supplies to one girl. It covers the cost of both materials and the wages of the women in Zambia who make the soap, reusable pads, and underwear. We've also given a challenge to our members to sew the purses these supplies are delivered in. Many of our members sew to make their costumes, and many of the materials that our costumes are made from are durable enough to use for a purse. The girls love bright colors, so any scraps that we have from costumes like our X-Wing flight suits are perfect for this. We're running a competition through the end of the calendar year to encourage our members to sew these purses. You can find all the information about how to make these purses and both the basic and intermediate patterns on the So Powerful website. Now, why did we pick Padme for this design? You should read Queen's Peril to find out. Menstruation is a minor plot point twice in this book, so Padme and her handmaiden seem like the perfect fit for the pin. Again, you can find the link to purchase the pin in the post and comments of this broadcast. Keep sewing and keep reading Rebels, and may the Force be with you.
Hi, and welcome to Community Presbyterian School here in Nombe Compound. This school is just a short walk from the Needs Care School here in Nombe, which is the headquarters of the So Powerful Sewing Cooperative. And as you can see behind me, the room is filled with girls who have just received their So Powerful purses that were sewn maybe by some of you that are watching this video. These purses are sewn by seamstresses all across the world, in the United States, in Great Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Brazil. We ship those purses here to Zambia, where they are filled with reusable feminine hygiene product that is sewn by the So Powerful So Cooperative here in Zambia, by the seamstresses. Each purse also contains a bar of soap that is made by the So Powerful Soap Cooperative and 2 pair of underwear for the girls. I've also included in each purse is a wonderful note. I was just with some girls over here on the side, and they were reading their notes. They had a note from San Francisco, a note from Indianapolis, Indiana, a note from Boston, Massachusetts, from all over the United States. These girls also just received some instruction on how to use the product in the purses. The question was asked the girls before the purses were distributed, how many of you stay home now when you're on your period and don't go to school? Every girl in this room raised her hand and said, I don't come to school when I'm on my period. Now that the girls have their purses, they're all going to take the pledge to basically say they're going to come to school. Even when they're on their period, they're not going to miss school. This little purse is going to absolutely change their lives. As the girls come up, they're selecting the one that they want. And you know what? Girls in Zambia are no different from girls anywhere else in the United States or around the world. They love beautiful things, the bright colors, the quality workmanship, and the time and the care and the beauty that is put in these purses is reflected in the eyes of these girls as they sort through them and find the one that is the most beautiful to them. And then to see them sit and hold them to their body, to take out the notes and read them and share them. This is a really, really special thing. So if you are one of our seamstresses, I want to say a huge thank you to you. You are transforming lives here in Nombe Compound. This is just one school of 25 different schools that receive these purses. If you're a seamstress and you're watching this video today and maybe you haven't joined yet, maybe you haven't sewn a So Powerful purse, I want to encourage you to do so. Put a little bit of love and your heart into this purse, and it is going to absolutely bless the girl that receives it here in Zambia. You are changing lives. And on behalf of everyone at So Powerful, I want to say a big thank you to you.
Everybody, my name is Jenna of the Rebel Legion Outer Rim in Guam and also of Pride Squadron. I'm here to talk about why representation in Star Wars books means so much to me. So, I want to specifically talk about the lovely Vernestra Rowe, who first appeared in A Test of Courage by Justina Ireland in the High Republic books. Vernestra is... I loved her before I knew that she was asexual, as an asexual person myself. And now I love her so much more. But Vernestra is a very young Jedi who's knighted at a very young age and is dealing with being more senior than her peers and not knowing how to relate to them. Having a Padawan who's only a couple years younger than her and struggling to relate to him in a mentorship way that she feels is meaningful, but also struggling to relate to her other Jedi Knight peers who are sometimes twice and even 3 times her age. So those sort of understated struggles, I think, were really relatable to me as growing up as one of those kids who was awfully well-spoken and didn't necessarily fit in with their peers. And you see a lot of her in this book, as well as she reappears in Out of the Shadows, which is where she talks a little bit more, this is the YA book, about being a... No, she doesn't really have the words for it, but not feeling sexual attractions in the way that all of her peers do, and not really knowing how to navigate that. And that to me was really, really relatable as somebody who grew up in the late 2000s and didn't, or early 2000s rather, who didn't have any representation of anybody else feeling that way. So I thought I was an odd one out. And so for me, in my 30s, to find a book like this feels like such a justification of the experience that I had, and makes me feel like I was not alone in having that experience. So if you want to get to know Vernestra, I highly recommend you check out these books, but really all of the High Republic stuff. She makes some appearances in the other middle grade book, Rise to Crash Point Tower by Danielle Jose Older, and she does make a few cameos in the High Republic Marvel comics. I think one of the things that I'd love to see is she's not the first explicit ace character in the High Republics. The first one we met was in Into the Dark, Claudia Gray, and we met an adult person who was very comfortable in being asexual, and I think for me, I would love to see them meet each other and have an adult say, the feelings you're having are okay and completely normal, and not only accept those, but be proud of who you are as that. And I think to me as a young person, and even as someone in my 30s, that would mean so much to see a senior queer person tell a younger queer person, it's cool, you're cool. So thanks so much to all of the amazing High Republic authors for giving us just a slew of great representation. If you haven't checked them out yet, I highly recommend it.
Hi, Ben. I hope you're doing well with your training and that you're enjoying yourself as well. I slowed that particular form down a bit, but I've always enjoyed what your father would call slightly more aggressive exercises. Because I feel that there's most certainly a time and a place for that. As you go out, you'll find that some evil, dark side, Sith, they're aggressive. And there are times when it's appropriate to meet that aggression with similar strength, but staying on the good side. It's possible. I also find that in doing more aggressive, as your father calls them, forms and exercises, whether they're slowed down or at full speed, helps me to release the negative buildup that's inside me. For me, it's a lot more effective than meditation, which, as you know, your father prefers that. And that's fine. You need to find what works for you. As you know, Palpatine trained me. He trained me. I was never a Sith. I was never on the dark side. But I did do some pretty bad, very bad things. I also have hoped that my actions, whether they were while I was serving Palpatine or now as a Jedi, have been guided by honor and integrity and doing the right thing. Although, admittedly, what I thought was right, then not exactly now. However, honor is still honor. I hope that you're doing well and that you will keep in mind everything you've learned, both here at home and with your cousin's training. I hope that we will continue to stay on the side of the light and be strong and avoid the temptation that the dark side can be. Because it can be very tempting, but it's not stronger than the light. So I hope we get to see you soon, and may the force be with you. I love you, my son.
In the future, I'll become a lawyer.
حكون مهندس معماري عشان ابني وطني من جديد.
ما يقول يسري برا بون دولي ده يعني اللي هورين ديوره ولا لعبة دولي.
أحب أصير صيدلانية وبنفس الوقت أضلني متابع قضايا المرأة وأكتب عنها أشعار ومقالات.
أنا كارلا سالير باجم.
اطلع مهندسة كمبيوتر يا أما مهندسة معمار.
بس أكبر بدي أطلع دكتورة أطفال.
مستقبلي مع دكتور. I'm going to be the boss of the company. I'm going to change the world.
Hi, this is Venus Sakura from Kata Bay, Singapore, and thank you for being part of Rebel Reads.
Hi, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. My name is Jenna Lindicke Heavenrich, and I'm here with Ario Anindito, the line artist for the High Republic Marvel Comics. So thank you for talking with us again. We had a great time hearing your interview in Rebelathon this May, but many folks probably turning in this time haven't had a chance to meet you before. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me, and thank you for all the support to the High Republic series. My name is Arian Indito, and I am the penciler for the High Republic comic series, and been loving it. There's a lot of people that supports us, and it's been a great journey so far, creating this new but actually old era of the Star Wars, the High Republic. And I am truly invested in the characters and the story, and I really love everything about it. And I guess this is what we all called a dream job. So I'm living my life right now.
That's great. How did you get into drawing comics in the first place?
Well, it all starts a long time ago when I was a kid. My cousin, they read comics, and when they are bored with the comics, thankfully they are kind enough to give it to me. So I was exposed to comics from such an early age, and then I was like, I was thinking that it would be awesome if I can make a living by creating comic books, and so that's I see your cat over there.
I'm trying. He doesn't want to move.
My cat is actually asleep just behind me, so you can't see her. But yeah, cats are everywhere, and we love them. Yeah, so I decided to let's make that a goal to work as a comic artist for a living. It will be wonderful and lovely. And there's so many things that I need to go through to reach that journey. But at the end, I got offered to do a test by Marvel Comics, and they love the result. And I've been working for them since 2014 until now, and it's been a wonderful place to work, and they are such a lovely person to work with. And yeah, and that's how I get into comic books.
That's great. How did you find yourself working specifically on the High Republic comics? What was that like to get the call on that?
Yeah, of course, I'm honored to be working on this series, but at first I didn't believe it, because this is such a huge title, and I think one of the most anticipated Star Wars comic title that comes out recently, and I honestly have no idea why they pick me for the artist, because this is such a big responsibility. But I thank Mark Panicia and Thomas Groneman for believing in me. Mark, we've worked together for several titles. I think started from Weapon Age and Atlantis Attack and Hulk Marines, and actually Greg Pak introduced us, and then from that we got a very good collaboration and healthy work relationship. And Mark told me that he see that I improved myself in terms of art wise. And then one day when I got to visit New York Comic Con in 2019, that was before the dark ages of pandemic. Right. And it was the first time I met Mark and the rest of the Marvel crew, actually. And it was my second time ever to go to the United States. The first time was in the San Diego Comic Con at the same year. So it was a memorable moment. And at that time, I get to meet Mark, and he said that he has this he has this project, a Star Wars project. And he wants to offer it to me, and I have no idea it's the High Republic, but he asked me like, do you like Star Wars? And I said, that's a trick question, right? As you know, my name is Ario Chewbacca Anindito, so how can I not love Star Wars? Yeah. So Mark was like, okay, then I have this project for you, and I would like you to join us on board for this Star Wars new project. And I was like, okay, hit me up. And I thought it's going to be like a one-off, just like the Star Wars annual, the one that I did before previously. So I thought it's not going to be this big, and I haven't heard again from him after the Comic-Con, and then the pandemic happens, and I thought, oh, it's not going to happen because it's been too long already, and I have no news from him. Maybe they changed their mind, or they have another project for me. I don't know. And then after the pandemic, after 3 months after the pandemic hits, 3 months later, Mark emailed me and he said, hey, Ario, are you still available for that Star Wars project? And I said, yeah, definitely. I'm so in. And then I am officially on the High Republic team.
Super exciting, and we're glad you are. I love every page.
Thank you so much. It's all teamwork, and I'm very, very happy and grateful to have such a solid team. We are all contributing our artistically and creatively in an equal portion. Mark Morales is a legendary inker, and I didn't realize that I never expected that I would be able to work with him, have Mark Morales ink my pencil line art. And that is such an honor for me, because I've been hearing and I've been looking and been a fan of his work from a long time, for a long time. So having him as the inker is like, wow, working with legend. And Annalisa Leone, yeah, amazing. And Annalisa Leone is a magician. She basically created the whole atmosphere single-handedly, all the saber reflections, all the nihil deadly gases, green spooky atmosphere, and she's just so good with her colors. And Ariana with the lettering that made it so much easier and so much better in terms of flow when you read the pages. And she also very innovative on creating the effects, sound effects. And of course, Kevin Scott, the genius writer behind the High Republic series that we are working on. He's a very huge Star Wars fan. He's genius. He's a very fun person to work with, and we have the same taste on horror movies, and he's, of course, as we all know, quite sadistic in a way, where he kills off important characters just like that. So when I read Twitter, like, Kevin, what did you do? And I need all of you to know that I share the same feeling. Every time I got the script, I'm like, okay, let's pray. Let's hope that Kevin did not kill anyone, or at least do anything bad to any of the characters in the book. And so, but that's not going to happen. Kevin will always kill someone, and he will always destroy our hopes. But it makes the story itself wonderful in a way. It is very interesting. It is very dramatic. It has all the tragic elements that made the story complete. And you just know that the stakes are high when, things like that happens. And Kevin, he just made the story beautifully that I'm having a hard time in order to be able to illustrate all the stories justice. And I hope I am doing a decent job in order to make the storytelling look great visually, along with the other team. Yeah.
Well, certainly from what I've read so far, it's been a beautiful, emotional journey. And one of the things I love so much about the High Republic, not just this, but also the whole thing, is it's such a huge team effort. And I love what comes out of so many different people putting in their talents and their love for Star Wars into this. It's been an amazing thing to read all of it and see all the different angles and all the different things you guys are putting into it.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy and so glad to hear that you enjoy it. Thank you.
My pleasure. You're providing such a wonderful service art for the Star Wars fans.
Thank you.
So, as you know, the Rebel Legion is a costuming club, and one of the things that I, as a costumer, is I spend with my nose in the book, like, okay, how long is this? What color is it? So I was wondering, can we talk about the costumes a little bit?
Well, I will answer as much as I can. Okay. Of course. I'll do my best, Jenna, to answer all the costuming questions.
I mean, and of course, I understand if you don't know everything because, we're the stitchers with the fabric and you're working magic with your pencil.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of characters in the High Republic that I didn't design the costume, so I may not know the basic thinking of the costume designing, but I do design several characters in the High Republic, so I may be able to answer those that I actually design. Yeah, but the one that I don't, I can only share you what I think about it.
Okay, and that'd be great to hear. I'm curious, how much interaction do you have with the concept artists? Is it, here's the concept art, go have fun, or have you had any dialogue with the concept artists?
Well, I tried to, when they give me the concept arts, I tried to follow all the concept arts faithfully because they're all so beautifully designed. They're all so wonderfully put out, and this is such a just such a dream come true to see such concept art from Lucas, the guy at Lucasfilm, and I try to just follow it through faithfully, and the interaction would be if I draw something that is incorrect, then they will remind me or give notes that I think this part needs to be revised, or this part or that part. That's about it, but that happens in the early issues of the High Republic, but and the recent issues, I just already know the costumes, or I already get that all the details inside my head, so I rarely have any notes about costuming anymore, and yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay. So I guess looking at the Jedi, maybe we can use Keevan as an example. How many different outfits does she have?
As far as I know, we have like around 3 that I have seen. The Jedi temple attire and the mission attire, and the one that looks close to temple attire but not too complicated, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so more casual temple attire?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it seems some of the novels have talked about that there's the different levels of fanciness that they wear for special occasions and so on.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that like they mix and match some of the same costume pieces as you're drawing them? Do they wear the same boots or something, or wear the same shirt or something between them, or is it pretty distinct outfits as you've been drawing them?
I would imagine that they might have the same model for the basic layering of the costume, but it's definitely a different piece, because I believe they have several that look exactly the same like that. So it might not be the same outfit, but maybe the basic layering is the same shape. But yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Great. As you're drawing, do you imagine what kind of materials they're wearing? Whether it's, what kind of fabric or material do you think that they're wearing as you're drawing them?
It is a mixture of, I mean, when you see the brown one, the outer layer, it's definitely leather.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's heavy and it's like dropping, it has a nice drop in it. And the Jedi robe will be the same like the one we always see in the later Star Wars. And the inner outfit, probably it should be something that is not restricting them to move and to do action. Maybe the temple attire would be more, I don't know, complicated or expensive fabric that shows how, because they don't need to move that much in the temple attire. But of course, they also need to be not restrictive as well, because they need to stay alert just in case when they are using the temple attire, they get attacked or something like that. They don't want to be like, oh my God, we are in this attire where we are, having difficulty to move and to protect ourselves. We don't want to see them get naked in the temple attire just to fight, just in case they got attacked or something like that. So it is going to be not too restrictive, but maybe a little bit more restrictive than the mission attire. Mission attire should be the one that is very comfortable to do action. Yeah, maybe some stretchy material would help, but yeah.
I could see definitely needing to take the fancy outfit to the dry cleaner if you accidentally had to get in a fight with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Have you noticed differences when you're drawing that there's some pieces that feel more uniform and some pieces that feel more like individualized that the Jedi do? Because it seems like in a lot of the background, like looking at the end of the first issue, we've got all these background Jedi and they look pretty uniform. But there's some differences between.
Yeah, I think it is like when you see a boy band or a girl band, they have a somehow similar shape, but they put their own characteristic in them. So they don't all look the same, but they put a little bit of characteristic in them, especially for me, at least what I think is, especially for those that are in high level, they have the freedom, I think, or not the freedom, but they have the I don't know how to say it. They have the chance, or they have the permission, or I don't know, but they got their way to put their own individuality to their attire. Like when we see the new Grandmaster that are recently revealed, like Lahru or Oppo Rantises, the shape looks like their own traditional garb from their species planets, but it all adjusted to the High Republic style. So probably the lower the level are, they tend to have the more uniformed kind of attire, but as they progress, as they have more advanced level, they have the because the character becomes stronger, right? They have a stronger character. The lower level one is still young, they are still inexperienced, and they are probably doesn't have as strong character as, like, say, Yoda. But when you're at that level and you get to know and find out more about yourself and find out more about your true identity and how proud they are about their species, they would try to incorporate that identity to their look. So I think that's happened.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see the longer you're a Jedi, the more you want to sort of customize how you look and not be wearing the same uniform.
Yes, if this is an RPG game, the longer you and the better you are become a Jedi, you unlocked more items to customize yourself. Like, okay, now I got this, now I got that, I want to put it in my costume. Whether when you're still a junior Jedi, you just get, okay, this is the uniform that you can wear, and all the same with the others. Yeah.
So how about the difference between Padawan and Jedi Knight costumes? Have you noticed any differences there?
Well, in the High Republic specifically, as I recall, the Padawan have this green sash on their belt. Aside from the Padawan braids.
The braid,
yeah. So that is the most common trait in the High Republic era, because when you see the green sash, it's definitely still a Padawan. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like, looking at some of the art, it looks like the sashes match their lightsabers.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
I was talking about Keith, of course, because she wears this green sash when she's still in as a Padawan, and then the green sash is removed when she got the her Padawan braids by removed by Afar Chris. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it seemed like most of the rest of her outfit, other than the sash, stayed pretty much the same after that point.
Yes.
That's great. So maybe as you're the penciler, not the colorist, I'm curious about the formal ones. You may not be able to answer this one. It seems like a lot, when they wear the formal robes, some of them have white, some of them have gold, some of them have orange gold. Have you had any conversations about the differences between those? Or is that more, do you think, of the individual customization kind of thing?
I think that's more of an individual customization. When I designed several of the characters, the Grandmasters, I didn't really put specific notes about the colors.
Okay.
So it's up to the colorist whether he's or she's going to put which color that is appropriate or looking good in that design. But definitely the color palettes are there. It's the High Republic gold, white, and the majestic color palettes, the one we see in the temple attire, the one we see in the interior of the Starlight Beacon. So it's up to the colors to put that on. And I probably have my own imagination of the color will be this or that, but I'm no colorist, so the colorist would know better about that, and I'm happy to see the result.
Yeah, and they all look beautiful.
Thank you.
Especially when you were designing your own. Did the designs on the tabards have any significance?
Basically, for me personally, I would just see what's already in the concept art and try to incorporate their own uniqueness by their own. Like when we see this species, so what's their traditional garb? Oh, is this like that? Okay, so which pattern is better to put on that? And I kind of choose from the concept. Okay, this one would look good. This one would be better. And basically, it's just that. It's more of a feeling involved instead of logical. So it's the aesthetics elements that speaks. And for me personally, if the character itself is more calm, then the pattern will be more simple. And if the characters is a bit complicated, or he or she is more outspoken and like that, the pattern will be more, they have a lot of more shape. Basically, like normal human, they tend to pick the clothing that really tell people, of how they are. It's a personal statement, but of course the pattern will be limited to what we already see in the High Republic era.
That's great. Do you have any favorites of those ones you recently designed?
Well, yeah, but I cannot tell you which one I designed.
We will stand by.
But I do have a really good favorite because when it was revealed, people also love the design. So I really love it.
All right. Well, I'll kind of keep watching.
Okay.
Is there a particular tiny costume detail that you've put into some illustrations that you really love, but maybe the casual viewer might not notice?
I really like I don't really draw that a lot because it tends to be covered, or it tends to get lost in the details because the camera angle is too far or something like that. But I really love the brooches, the one that Avar had, or Keith actually also have it in the belt, in her lightsaber belt over here. Yeah, I really love that. I'm a collector of animal pins, so the brooches is very interested for me, and I would like to have one, from Kiev or from Avar, even the round, just simple armor brooch that Skier has on his armor to lock his robe and his shoulder pads. It looks great. I'm sure if we were able to zoom in, like really zoom in, I'm sure there will be details in it, like some little patterns of the High Republic era over there.
Yeah.
But we never get to see that close. Yet. I haven't got the chance to draw that close, but when if I do, I would make sure to put something maybe in the outer line or something over there. Yeah, basically those are the elements that I kind of like, because I just enjoy and I imagine that the accessories, the jewelry thingy on that High Republic era must be really, really wonderful. The details and all the elements will be wonderful, because it is the era where we see the golden age of the Jedi, where everything is made and treated more special than afterwards. They took the time. It's like when we go back to the era where we get to see all the sculpture and the churches, and the Da Vinci era of architecture. Well, nowadays we tend to skip all that and just go straight to the function. But the High Republic era is the era where they really pay attention to the aesthetic elements. So I'm sure the brooches and the jewelry and the pins will be awesome.
Yeah.
I would really want to have it, have them. Yeah.
Well, speak that out to the universe, and customers may make that happen.
Please, and send them to me. I would wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody listening on, pay attention. So, as we're talking about brooches and stuff, let's talk about cloaks and capes. There are a lot of really fun capes in this era.
Yep.
So, other than looking awesome, what purpose do you think that those capes and cloaks serve in the High Republic for the Jedi?
Somehow I imagine it served the same function as when we see a monk, or in the monastery, or when we see a Shaolin monk. They tend to wear the same thing. It might give I don't know, this is just in my head, right?
Yeah.
It might give you a feeling of self-closure, of really get inside you when you're cloaked, serene, and then peaceful, and then like you are becoming one with yourself. That doesn't mean that you're not opening up to what's around you, but maybe they tend to be more focused when they got the cloaks, so they can feel the force around them, and they got warm and cozy that way.
I imagine space is kind of cold.
Yeah, I mean, that depends. If you're that close to the sun, you might want to take off the cloak. But I haven't seen any sun close to anyone in the High Republic, so it might be very cold.
All right. I mean,
and
also,
in the mission, sorry to cut you off. In the mission, it can actually help the Jedi to hide themselves, to conceal themselves, right? When they go to a walk amongst the people, the crowd, or when they go, like when they're fighting the Drengir, they go to underground, right? The ground. They have the same color as the ground, so it's easier for them to just blend in with the something like that.
So I'm sitting here staring at probably my favorite ever Chris piece right here, in which her cape is just fluttering and beautiful.
I love that scene. I love drawing that one. Yeah.
So comparing to what we see in the prequel, where Obi-Wan is dropping expensive wool cloaks all over the galaxy, why do you think that Avar and the other High Republic folks keep their cloaks on while they're dueling?
I see them like this. If I have to put it as in a comparison, the newer the more recent Jedi are like probably like John McClane, where they're just bad and wearing whatever they want to, like, okay, let's get into action, and then they take off their cloak and Jedi robes. Where the Jedi at the High Republic is more like the classic James Bond, where okay, we can go to action still with, you know, using our tuxedos and in style, and we can defeat the enemy, you know, without losing our cloak, and we can still, you know, be dapper and dandy while doing it. And of course, they are somehow, I think the Jedi in the High Republic era is more they have more, I don't know, it's the golden age of Jedi. So I imagine the Jedis are more powerful in that era than the recent era, except for Yoda, of course, because Yoda is in both. Yeah, he's just immortal. So because of that, and because they are still old-fashioned, it's like when you see people in the Victorian era where they always go with a full dapper clothing, even though they are just buying orange in the market, instead of nowadays where people just, you know, wear whatever they want to do. I'm just buying orange here, so I'm just going to buy milk. I don't need to look like James Bond. But people in the Victorian era, even the headless horsemen, they have to look like majestic all the time. Like, oh, I'm just going to buy a milk. But you look like you're going to the Met Gala. Yeah, it's just going to purchase a milk. I ran out of milk in my house. Yeah, so something like that. That's why they keep their cloak on. So they want to do everything in style and dapper, and they're just so badass that they can do everything with their cloak on.
The High Republic is the era of high fashion, it seems.
Yeah. But in some certain cases, like I remember I draw one of the twins, Tarek or Seret, in the early issues. They took off their robes because they need to be put on medication. Keith is putting bandage, so the clothes are off. So at certain moments, at certain times, they do lose their cloak, Jedi cloak. But if it's not really in such emergency, they would, in my mind, they would still prefer to have them on.
So we talked about brooches, but if you were to design your own Ario the Jedi Master outfit, are there any pieces you would want to borrow for your Jedi costume?
Well, definitely a lot. I would borrow a lot from Skier, his armor, his shoulder armor, and the one in the hands, and the belt. I also like the belt. But I like the way Keith is putting her sabers, in the belt across her body. So I would have my lightsaber over here and armor by. Basically, I would be very slow because there's so many armors I would wear just to look so good. It's like, oh, look at me. But when they all ran to the war field, I would be like the latest, like, oh, the war is already ended, because I would be so very slow. Yeah.
Safe by speed and by armor.
I will be like the laziest Jedi in the High Republic. Like, just to get ready, would take a lot of time where everyone is already fighting. I was like, hey, hold on. I'm still putting my armor and the brooches over here and the belt. Like, hang in there. Don't kill all the enemies yet. Let me do something. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
As somebody who regularly dresses up at Padme, I can So there goes
Right.
everybody. Hold on. I've still got to, put on the headdress.
Oh, I really love Padme, the Queen Amidala gear, the costume, the attire, the one with the red dress. Oh my God, I really love it.
Good.
I always want to have like a statue or a 1/6 scale figure of it, but they never made it. I really want it. I wish Hot Toys would make Padme Amidala in that attire, because wow, it's just wow, jaw-dropping design. It's such a wonderful design. Yeah.
Do you have any other character designs besides Jedi that you love? You're mentioning Padme, but some others you've seen.
The one that I designed, or just any character design?
Any in High Republic or elsewhere in Star Wars.
In the High Republic, I really like in terms of costuming, I like Avar's costume, of course, because I like the armor, that the little neck gear that she has over there. I really like that. And aside from, I also like the design of Lorna D, the Nihil.
Yeah.
Even though the mask is pretty hard to draw, it's pretty difficult to draw, but it's tricky. Aside from the High Republic, I love. I also love the new revealed Grandmaster Jedi Master's clothing. I think it's very unique to their characters, because they are really advanced. So they, like what we talked before, or like what we discussed before, they tend to have their own strong characteristic in it. Jorah Mali, I love it. I love the design.
Oh yeah.
I truly love the accessories in her head. The headpiece is.
I love how her headpieces kind of become part of the costume.
Yes, exactly. I love that. I think Jorah Mali is my favorite. Yeah, and outside the High Republic, I always love Asajj Ventress.
Okay.
All of her costumes, I love. All of the variation of her costume designs, I love. And in terms of shape or face, I love Plo Koon. And to know that he's almost in the Mandalorian, and then he got replaced by Luke, gonna break my heart. But we get to see Luke, and that is also a great thing. So yeah, those are the Jedi that the characters that I love from Star Wars.
That's great. I love in a lot of the comics and elsewhere that there's a lot of specificity of, like, even here in the comic, of the lightsaber styles, that they're all very personal. Do you have a favorite lightsaber?
My favorite lightsaber is Avar Kriss, the sword. Yeah, the sword. I really love it. Whenever I get to draw that saber, I'm always happy, because it's like you're drawing a medieval knight-ish thing, and she just so bad with that.
Yes.
She everything in her, the headband, jewelry, the armor, the lightsaber, the costume. Yeah, whoever designed Avar in Lucasfilm, it did a really great job, because Avar had a really, really good and wonderful costume design, and I can't wait to see people, cosplaying as Avar.
I will say that as soon as her designs came out, we had a whole bunch of hands in the air being like, when do we get enough images because we want to make this? What does the back look like? That's the biggest question. We're waiting for what does the back look like. But
I miss going
I'm in line for that too.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to see you wearing that. I'm sure it would be great. I miss Comic-Con,
Yeah.
Comic-Cons, Comic conventions. And I hope if I'm able to go to next year, if there is a Comic-Con next year, and if I be able to go there, I hope and looking forward to see High Republic costume,
I'm
over
sure
there,
you will.
role play.
I know.
And I would take pictures. I would just take pictures with all of the, cosplayers, the High Republic cosplayers. I was like, can I take picture with you? Can I take picture? Because it would be like a dream come true whenever, especially if I get to see them cosplaying as the costume that I designed. You would be, oh my God. I don't know how it will feel like, but I'm sure it will be wonderful. It will be great. And I would just have to hold myself from jumping around like a little kid when that happens. Because in Comic-Cons, we all turn into our little kids, right? Our little self. So I need to hold myself if I go to Comic-Con and see the High Republic cosplayers. But I will take pictures with every of them, all of them. I would take pictures with them.
Oh, that's awesome. Every time I open a new volume, I'm like, oh, I want that one. Oh, I want that one. So my biggest challenge is which one do I start on first? Right. So Avar is definitely high up there. I'm a big fan of, she only made a brief entrance in here, but I really love Renestra Rowe.
I love her lightsaber.
Yes.
I love her whip saber.
Yes.
Oh my God. I really want to draw her again. Every time I draw her and I get to draw the whip saber, I love it.
I have no idea how I would make a whip saber, but we'll try. Maybe LED strings or something.
Yeah, a person once asked me that isn't that is really dangerous, to have a lightsaber in a form of whip? And then I told him it's actually more safe than the real whip. I mean, the real whip, if you use it and it comes back to you, there are no stopping that. But a whip saber, if it's coming to you, you just turn off.
Good point.
You just turn it off, and then the whip is gone. The real whip, it is coming to you. You're just like, okay, accept my fate. This is it. I'm done. My head will be chopped off because I used this carelessly, or at least I go blind because the whip will be up here. But a whip saber, when it comes to you, you just turn off, zip, and it's gone. So it's the safest whip you can ever find, and
for
it
you
looks
anyway.
great. Yeah. And I also like her look as well, and the tattoos inside next to her eyes. Yep.
I love that. Are there any characters from elsewhere in the High Republic material that you'd love to get a chance to draw in the comic?
Bucket of Blood. And
yes, he's great.
And let's see. I think that's the most that I really want to draw is this Bucket of Blood. Of course, I don't mind at all to draw. I really want to draw the Jedi from the new animation.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. The one that is I forgot the title, but there's the Japanese style,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Visions one.
Yes, Star Wars Visions. I would like to draw the characters from that Star Wars Visions. It would be fun because it's a different media, so it could be interesting to see them in form of comic in, let's say, the High Republic comic style.
Mm-hmm.
It would be fun, to see that. And of course, many other characters that appears in a novel but not yet in a comic. I would like to get the chance to visualize them into the comics, so we get to see how they look like. I mean, when we first get to see Jorah Mali, it's so the feeling is like, oh, So this is the one that got away, the one
Miss.
that we lost. Yeah, the one that we missed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's so graceful and yeah, you know the feelings, right?
It makes me hope we get a flashback or something. to
Yeah, me
appreciate
too. I would love to draw that, and to draw Jora Mali in the comic. I would love to draw her, especially with the flawless costume.
that. Mhm.
Yeah, but who knows? Like maybe
Yeah.
Kevin will watch this and just like, okay, let's put
We'll put
Jora.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. But I cannot say anything. So maybe she is already in the comic in the flashback. Oh, I don't know. Maybe she isn't. I don't know. I can't say anything. But
Just keep reading.
just keep reading. Oh, tighten your seatbelt.
I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
The next issue, I'm telling you, it is even difficult for me to draw it.
Where I last saw Kiev, it was like, this is gonna be good, and I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm very scared.
Yep. Oh my God. Kevin did a really good and scary job over here. So, well, tighten your seatbelts.
Be excited, be nervous. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, it is fun. It is fun, but yeah. Yeah, it's it's great. Don't get me wrong. It's wonderful. But as a fan of the characters, as a huge fan of Star Wars, and as we know, Star Wars has a lot of tragedies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to be able to draw them and enjoy them at the same time is like, oh, Kevin, you are such a cruel gentleman, but I like your work. Yeah. Something like that. And I hope, I draw them justice. Yeah.
Oh yes. The beauty and terror of the High Republic is nothing is sacred except for maybe Yoda, Yarl Proof, and Maz. Everything else is, we might not see them again. It makes me nervous.
Yeah. At least we know that Yoda survived. At least we know that the little green old man is going to be fine. But I mean, I'm in love. I'm in love with so many characters in the High Republic.
Yes.
I'm in love with them, and I am just like, oh, come on, Kevin, don't do this.
They already going through too much trouble.
Yeah. Well,
that's what makes a great story.
Yeah, I mean, what happened will make you be grateful that you're following this series because it's such a wonderful journey.
Yes.
What will happen will shock you, but it is a wonderful story, epic story to tell. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Wish me luck.
Well, good luck. And I look forward to every issue as it comes out.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for the support. Thank you so much.
So I guess before we go, if folks wanted to follow you and your work, where would they find you on the internet?
Well, on the Instagram, the handle is all the same at Aryo Anin. It's basically my name and my first name and half of my last name, meshed up together. I'm on Facebook as well. I'm on Twitter as well, all with the same handle. Basically, if you type Aryo Anindito in Google, you'll find everything about me. I'm so easy to kill, I'm so easy to find. Whenever people want to get my personal information, they just type in Google and then Aryo Anindito. Aha, So yeah, so please don't kill me and please follow my work and please enjoy the High Republic. Please tell Kevin not to be so cruel, and may the Force be with us all.
Yeah, may the Force be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Hi, I'm Melinda.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited to announce that we have reached $1,000 for our charity Save the Children. Thank you so much to everyone who has donated, and please keep it up. They do amazing work all over the world. Your donations are going to go so far. Thanks again, and please continue watching Rebel Reads. Hello, Rebels. This is Catherine Winchell, the Executive Director of Rebel Reads and member of the Rebel Legion Administrative Council. This year, Rebel Reads is supporting two different charities. We're having a fundraiser for Save the Children, and we're doing something a bit different for So Powerful. Ariana Tazzi of Rebel Legion Italian Base has created the art for an enamel pin for this event, which is available exclusively to Rebel Legion members and those in our sister clubs. It's an exclusive design due to the copyright agreements that we have with Lucasfilm. You can find the link to purchase and more details about who is eligible in the main post and comments of this broadcast. For those who can buy, all proceeds from the pin will go to So Powerful, which is an organization that works in Zambia to provide girls with reusable menstrual supplies that they can stay in school all month long. Without these supplies, most girls stay home from school when they're on their period because all they have to use are rags. This is extremely damaging to their education and leads to a higher rate of failure on the exam they take to be able to move on to secondary high school. The proceeds from the sale of each pin is enough to bring critical supplies to one girl. It covers the cost of both materials and the wages of the women in Zambia who make the soap, reusable pads, and underwear. We've also given a challenge to our members to sew the purses these supplies are delivered in. Many of our members sew to make their costumes, and many of the materials that our costumes are made from are durable enough to use for a purse. The girls love bright colors, so any scraps that we have from costumes like our X-Wing flight suits are perfect for this. We're running a competition through the end of the calendar year to encourage our members to sew these purses. You can find all the information about how to make these purses and both the basic and intermediate patterns on the So Powerful website. Now, why did we pick Padme for this design? You should read Queen's Peril to find out. Menstruation is a minor plot point twice in this book, so Padme and her handmaiden seem like the perfect fit for the pin. Again, you can find the link to purchase the pin in the post and comments of this broadcast. Keep sewing and keep reading, Rebels, and may the Force be with you.
My name is Brenda Perry, and I'm a seamstress at So Powerful, which is at Needs Care here in Ngombe, Lusaka, Zambia. I joined this group in 2017, in September. Yes, and I was taught how to sew the sanitary pads for a girl child. I'm married. I've got one child who's cerebral palsy, and I keep 3 of my siblings. I've got 4 young siblings, but one is married. So the rest, I keep the 3 rest and I take care of them because I don't have a parent. Yes, and they all look up to me. I'm the one who's taking them to school because of the same program. My mother passed on in 2015. Yes. And my dad just abandoned us just right after my mother died. Everyone just went after burying my mother. Even the relatives, just after the burial, they all went and left us. Madam Esther found me drawing water early in the morning when Charity was just 3 months old. Yeah, then she told me that I should come in September. She even told me the date I've forgotten the date. Then I kept that in my mind. I told her I don't have anyone to leave the baby. Then she told me, come with the baby if you don't have anyone to keep the baby for you. Then I started coming with her. After some time, I found someone to keep the baby for me. Then that's how I started coming now. That was a light in a dark tunnel. I thought, wow, this is a miracle, because it was early in the morning, around 6, and then she told me she should come and start work. We should be a seamstress. And she told me she should think about it. Then I had no time to think about it. I just had to go. But now I can sew a lot of stuffs, thanks to her. It means a lot because it's a career which I wanted. I loved to have a machine and sew, yes. And in terms of income, I'm managing at least to take my siblings to school and at least to meet their daily needs and my baby's daily needs. You know, if you have a baby with a physical challenge, you have to buy a lot of stuffs, different foods. You have to pay for physio, buy a lot of stuffs for her physiotherapy. So if you're not working, you can't manage. So this means a lot to me.
Mabuhay! We are Rebel Legion Bagong Pag-asa Base, Philippines.
H. Heir to the Empire.
A. Akbar.
B. Form.
P. Pilot.
Y. Wing.
R. Resistance Pilot.
E. E11 Blaster.
B. BB-8.
E. Ezra Bridger.
L. Lightsaber. R. R2D2.
E. Ewok.
A. Attack of the Clones.
D. Droid.
S. Sand People.
D. Din Djarin.
A. Anakin Skywalker.
Y. Yoda. Happy Rebel Ridge Day.
And may the Force be with you.
بلبنان عايشين في خيمتنا صايرة جملون عايشين فيها أنا وأمي وأخواتي وأبوي. أتذكر أحلامي الحلوة، أتذكر بيتنا كيف كان، بس هلأ انهدم. نرجع على بيتنا ونعيش بسلام بس. لما جينا رحلنا لهون صار حالتنا ضيقة كتير. قمت أنا رحت أشتغل بالاستيراد. صاروا الزعران بعيطولي بيقولوا لي أنا بعطيك مصاري وتعي معي. شغل في زعران بيلطشونا بالمدرسة، ما في حدا بيلطشنا، في استاذية واستاذيات. تعلمت إنه نحن بهذا العمر لازم هلا بنكون على المدرسة منه نصير كبار. عطتنا مبلغ ساعدنا الأطفال.
Mabuhay ug maayong adlaw. Ako si Glenmark Flash Antonio. Gikan kanamong tanan sa Saray Manok Squadron, bagong Pag-asa Base, Rebel Legion dinhi sa Pilipinas. Daghang salamat sa kaninyong pagtabang sa Save the Children Foundation. Malipayong Rebel Reads Day 2021.
Hello everyone, this is Catherine with Sunrider Base and the Rebel Legion Administrative Council, and today I'd like to show off some custom Legos that I made of the new Jedi Order characters. First we have Mara, my favorite, as I'm pretty sure you've all figured out by this point. I started making these because I wanted to have something like Legos for these characters. They don't get a lot of love these days. And with my limited art capabilities, Legos felt like something I could do. So I started with Han from Solo. Took his pants. Sorry, Han. Don't need you for this. And those were perfect for Mara because she has the black jumpsuit with the brown leather belt, which is the exact same style that he has in Solo. I then added some paint to the back of it. It was Black Widow that I started with and painted over for the top and the hair and all that. And of course I had to make Luke to accompany her. This one was easy, no painting required, just stealing Jedi robes from somebody else and putting Luke's face on it. And Ben Skywalker, of course, too. Gotta have him. I love the little freckles I found for it. And Vestara. I still need to paint the scar on her lip, but this one was pretty easy. And Jaina Solo Jedi version. Also didn't need to do any paint on this one. And the pilot version as well, because, of course, love that she flies an X-Wing with Rogue Squadron. I did a different variant of Mara, this one with the cape. I painted the back of it even though I didn't need to, because the cape covers everything. And then I think the most fun one probably is Tenel Ka, because she's missing a hand and then her saber has the Rancor tooth hilt, so it was fun to piece that together. I'm still working on some. Had a lot of fun with these, and I hope you've enjoyed seeing them.
今日はアトリエに来ていただいてありがとうございます。
皆さんこんにちは。いかがお過ごしでしょうか。レベルリージョンジャパンのレミーこと葉山直子です。今日は、皆さんもご存知でと思いますけれども、イラストレーターの長野剛さんの、アトリエにお邪魔しております。長野さん、本日はどうもお邪魔しております。よろしくお願いいたします。
はい、よろしくお願いします。
ではまず最初に長野さんから自己紹介よろしくお願いいたします。
スター・ウォーズスピンオフの小説の、カバーアートをずっと全て数えて96冊書かせていただきました。長野剛です。よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いします。それでは長野さん、早速インタビューの方よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
まず最初の質問なんですが、スター・ウォーズのお仕事を始めたきっかけ教えていただけますか？
文庫スピンオフ小説の文庫が書店にこう並んでるのを僕は見かけたんですけれども、こういう絵を描く仕事が日本でもあるんだと思って、で僕もやりたいと思って、で当時マネジメントがいたで、その人にちょっと「スター・ウォーズ」の表紙書かせてもらうように営業してくれないって頼んだのがきっかけです。でそれで竹書房さんでやはり出していたので、竹書房さんに営業して、で最初にいただいたお仕事がそのジョージ・ルーカスのウィローの映画のそのスピンオフ小説の仕事だったんですね。で表紙を2冊シリーズ書かせていただいて、でその時に担当していただいた高木さんっていう方が僕の絵を認めてくれて、で次にその竹書房さんで出す「過去の亡霊」と「未来への展望」の2つのシリーズの「スター・ウォーズ」エピソード4のキャラクターを網羅したものなので、それを表紙書いてほしいって言われて、念願が叶ったということです。
お仕事決まった時はやはり、い
やもう嬉しかったです。もうかなりハイテンションでした。
もう頭の中にいろんなもの
そうですね。でも逆にちょっと勢いがつきすぎて、自分ではもっとああすればよかった、こうすればよかったって今見ればそう思うことが結構ありますけどね。舞い上がってたのは確かです。じゃ
あ最初はもうかなり気合の入った。
そうですね。やっぱり「スター・ウォーズ」は本当に好きだったんで、レーザーディスクが当時古い話なんですけど、
懐かしいですね。
最初に買ったのはやっぱり「スター・ウォーズ」でしたね。
続きまして作品を描かれる時なんですけど、英語版の原書、ブックカバーは参考にされたりしてらっしゃるんでしょうか？
そうですね。まずその表紙を書く依頼を受けるときに、原書のカバーを参考にまず見せていただいて、こういうキャラクターが出てくるよとか、世界観はこういう感じだよという話を聞くんですね。で大体やはりルーカスフィルムからのチェックを受ける以上、その原書のイメージを尊重しなきゃいけないんです。だから割とイメージキャラとか、悪役が出てきたりとか、映画に登場してないものに関してはその原書に習う形にして書き下ろします。ただあんまり個人的にはそのまま書くのは好きではないので、少しだけ書いたりはしています。全くの写した絵みたいには しなかったですね。それは自分のこだわりみたいなところがありました。だからギリギリの線で自分らしさを出したいなと。
原書のその表紙イメージを大切にされてるっていう話でしたけども、中身を読む機会っていうのは？
ところがあんまり読む機会がなくて、翻訳してる最中に、仕事依頼が来るので、例えばその表紙を書き下ろす前の巻、書く手前の本ですね。その本を例えばキャラクターをチェックするとき、そこだけをちょっと読んだりとかしました。だからユージャンボングにしてもなんとなくそのイメージがつかみづらかったので、何度かいろんなところを読みましたね。やっぱりでもちょっと分かりづらい存在でしたね、ユージャンボングの世界観は。
そうですよね。確かに映画でさえもやっぱり好きでも世界観がちょっとここはどうなんだろうってわからないところもありましたから、やっぱり原書でもそういうのが、
ユージャンボングに関してはやはりそのアメリカのイラストレーターが描いてたので、そのイメージは割とすんなり受け入れられたというか、割とそれを生かして描いていました。
ありがとうございます。では次に、長野さんがスター・ウォーズ作品の中で お気に入りのキャラクターを伺いたいんですけれども。はい。
映画には登場してないキャラクターなんですけど、マラジェイドはどうしてもなんか魅力を感じてしまいますね。
はい、長野さんといえばマラジェイドが出ましたが、はい、マラジェイドのお好きなところを話しいただければと。
やはりなんだろう、スタイリッシュなイメージがあって、で、まあもともとはパルパティーンの暗殺者を務めてた人ですよね。それがだんだんとこうルークに寄ってきて、まあ最終的には結婚して子供まで産んでしまうという、なんかこう波乱万丈な世界観を持っていて、まあマラジェイドが主人公で映画でも作れそうかなっていうぐらいのキャラクターだとは思ってます。で、
はい、できそう。
で書くときはやっぱり楽しいですよね。で、他は映画のそのキャラクターがこう俳優が決まってますけど、マラジェイドさんに関してはその特定のモデルがいなかったので、
そうですよね。一枚の写真がねあって、
そうですね。はい、シャノさんですね。シャノさんの写真は結構参考にはなりました。はい。そう
ですね。で、長野さんがそのマラジェイドを描かれた中でお気に入りのカバー作品ございますでしょうか。
カバー作品、そうですね。やっぱりここにはちょっと載せてないですけど、アルティメットビジュアルライドのマラジェイドはこれですか。はい。
今
これはかっ
そちらに
こよく描けたかなと自分では思ってますね。
もうね、すごいスタイルの良さとこの美しさと、もう長野さんの思い入れの凄さをね感じます。はい、ありがとうございます。はい。で、次にですね、作品を書かれる時に気にされていることって何かありますか。
まあ日本の小説って上下巻に分かれますので、その上下巻並べて一枚になるっていうアイデアはもう最初から、まあ、高木さんのアイデアなんですけども、それをずっと守ってきて、で原書では一冊の表紙の絵のものをその2つに分けるっていう形で、どうしてもキャラクターが少なくなるので、それはもう原書にないキャラクターも出してきて、でもう映画にも出てこなかったキャラクターも描くことが多くなりました。それはそれで楽しかったですけど、
お写真を参考にして、
そうです。はい。やはりもう俳優さんに似せるっていうのは大前提なので、これで似なくなっちゃったら、もう全然ダメなんですよね、表紙として。で、似せることに関しては自信はあったので、なんとか、とにかくレイヤーとかルークに関しては写真資料は本当に少なかったですけども、ハンソロに関してはハリソン・フォードの映画がずっと出続けていたっていうのもあって、資料はそんなに困らなかったですかね。レイヤーがやっぱり一番写真が少なかったでしょうか。
イメージはかなり
そうですね。もういろんな、もう当時はね、ネットもでもそんなに露出はしてない時代だったので、いろんな印刷物をもう集めて。
本屋さん。
そうですね、本屋さん。あとはもう本当に洋書をもうずっと探してスター・ウォーズ関連の洋書を集めました。
じゃあイラストにこうされる際にですね、何かこうスチールとか参考にされたものがあればそれについてお願いします。
基本的にはいろんな写真資料をもとに、ポージングとかもその参考になるものを探すんですけども、参考にしたいポージングがどうしても写真にない場合は自分で作るしかないんですよね。その時にたまたま手前にこうフィギュアとかあったりすると、そのフィギュアにポージングをさせて、これがいい例なんですけども、フィギュアにポージングをさせて、この角度ってなかなか写真がないものなので、自分でフィギュアをポージングさせて写真を撮って、で手はやっぱりフィギュアのままじゃダメなので、自分の手をデジカメで撮って、
カメラで撮って
で資料にして、で人物は顔はちょっと特定の俳優さんをモデルにして。
そうなんですね。じゃあ長野さんのその手がそこに入ってるっていうことなんですね。長野さん、ご自分でこう全部ポーズ取っちゃったらどうだったんですか。
いやいや、それは自分でカメラをなんだろう、リモコンがなかったので。
残念です。
いわゆる
2010年以降、スター・ウォーズの後は長野さん書かれていらっしゃらないですけども、2015年以降の新シリーズで何か書かれたいキャラクターとかいらっしゃいました？
はい、やはり女性が主人公のレイがやっぱりちょっと描いてみたいキャラだなと思いましたね。なんとなくジェイナに似てるかなっていうイメージなのと、顔がやはりこのキリッとしてて、すごく描きやすいタイプ、絵にしやすいタイプかなと思いますよね。絵になるかなと思いました。
レイってこう、セイバーを構えたりとか戦うというのは今までにないキャラクターですよね。
そうですね。そういう意味でもなんでしょう。女性がそのライトセーバー戦って、持って戦うシーンっていうのはやっぱりいいなと思いましたね。映像で見てても。で衣装も僕はすごく好きですね。ジェダイのジェダイで特に最後のなんていうタイトルでしたっけ？
スカイウォーカーの夜明け。
そう、スカイウォーカーの夜明け。あの時の衣装はこのドレープっていうかこう下がってるんだけど、片方結んでるんですよ。繋がってるんですよね。あれなんか不思議だなと思ったけども、なんかあれがなんかすごくいいなと思いましたね。
なんか理由があるんですかね。
なんか左右対称にしていないっていうか、そこが面白いなと思いました。こう活動的に。で、なんかたまたまネットで検索した時、写真を見た時にライトセーバーをこう正面を受けてこう構えてるなんか写真見て、あれこれなんか似てるなと思った時に、そういえばレムナントの表紙でジェイナを描いた時のポーズ少し似てるなと思いました。
レムナントの下巻の方ですかね。横に。珍しい確かに構えですよね。だいたいセーバーって縦構えか斜め。何かこうちょっと意志が感じられるような。はい、ありがとうございます。で現在、スター・ウォーズ以外で長野さん三国志とか戦国大名、映画関連とオリジナルの女神様の絵描かれてますけれども、スター・ウォーズの作品と違ってなんか違うことってあります？
そうですね。やはり映画関連の絵っていうのは俳優に似せるのが大前提なので、どうしてもこの俳優さんの顔を似せることにこの力を注ぐことが多いですね。で戦国とか三国志に関してはオリジナルでキャラクターを作らなきゃいけないので、写真的なリアルではあっても、やはり想像上の人物ということで、そういうところで多少デフォルメをしたり、自由度があるというか、そういうことはありますね。だから映画なりのその絵に描く楽しさはあるし、三国志戦国に関してはその自分でオリジナルで作り上げる楽しさはあります。だから両方僕は好きです。
その三国志とか書かれる時って多少こういうキャラクターで資料とかは？
資料はねあるんですけれども、大体なんか有名なキャラクターに関してはイメージがこう出来上がってますので、そこから外さないようにはします。でもやはりどうしてもかっこよく描くことは前提になってます。それは自分の中でもう決めちゃってるんですけど、多少かっこよくしないとこう見る人側としての反応が良くなくなっちゃうので、
なかなかでもじゃあ描くのには楽しいというか、
そうですね。
かなりですね。
だからスター・ウォーズに関しても、ニュージーランドオーダーシリーズなんかは割と後半の年を取った人たち、ルークとかハンソロとかみんな、映画の以上に年齢を重ねている時代じゃないですか。だからそれなりに年を取らせなきゃいけないってことだったんですけども、そのなんていうんでしょう、年を取らせ方もすごくデリケートで、あんまり老けさせると良くない。そこがこう葛藤がありました。
じゃあ逆にもっと若い時代のと書くっていうのは、なかなかまたそれも苦労ですね。
そうですかね。逆に若いのも大変ですね。
若いの。そうですよね。
アナキンなんかも この、ジェダイクエストシリーズのアナキーも若干若いんですよね。だから若くはしてます少し。
結構そうですよね。絵で年齢を出すっていうのもなかなかね。
そうですね。デジタルだったら加工は楽でしょうけど、アナログで描くっていうのはなかなかね、俳優に似せながらその年をこう前後させるのは難しいです。
そうですね。俳優なんかで言いますと、マーク・ハミル、ルークのなんかは、マーク・ハミル自体は本当に少年時代とかちっちゃい頃の写真って全くないですよね。確か話題にもかなり一部でなってました。ルークの少年時代の絵なんか確かあったと思うんです。
あれはね、本当に大変だなと思いました。結構少年だったので、その設定が。で、まずどうやったかっていうと、いっぱいマーク・ハミルの写真を1枚決めて、いっぱい写真コピーしたんです。縮小拡大と微妙にして、それをもうなんだろう、継ぎはぎのように目を切ったり、鼻を切ったり、そうです。顔の輪郭をもうちょっと変えたり、それを切り張りしたものをベースにして描きました。だから本当にモンタージュです、あれは。
今のデジタルの時代ですとあれでしょうけど、長野さんは CG じゃないですもんね。
手書きでやるにはそういう方法を取りましたね。だからどうしても自分でイメージで描いちゃうと崩れてきちゃうんですよ。なんていうのかな、俳優さんの顔から少し離れてっちゃう。そこを似せながらその少年に戻していく作業っていうのは非常に難しかったですけど、でもやっぱり他の時代の少年の写真も参考にしたんですよ。顔のそのパーツがどんぐらいの比率になるかっていうのを計算しながら、じゃあマーク・ハミルが若かったらもっとこんぐらいになるかなとか想像しながら描きましたね。
比率ここのね三角ってよく言いますよね。なんかね。
でやっぱり少年らしさ出す時にジェダイ服をじゃあ半袖しようかとか
肌を出して若々しくみたいな。
2008年のジェダオダシリーズなんかはハンソロが、ある程度、ある事象でズタズタになったり、で特に年を取っているわけなんですよね。今のその新しい2015年の新シリーズより前に、老けたハンソロというのは、お書きになって向こうのそのルーカスフィルムとか、あちらの方とこうやり取りとかってあったんですか？
いや特にね厳しくはなかったんですけれども、やはり現象で書かれているものに比べると少し若めには書いてましたね。でもそれをもう少し年取らせてほしいっていう要望は何度かありました。でもハンソロに関してはハリソン・フォードさんは結構映画出てたので、その年の取り方に関してはすごく困らなかったですよね。でもやっぱりそれでもスター・ウォーズのイメージってみんな頭の中にインプットされてるじゃないですか。だからそこからその別の映画のキャラクターのハリソン・フォードを描いても、そっちに移行してしまうので、そこをスター・ウォーズに戻さなきゃいけないっていう、そこが非常に難しかったです。だから髪型に関しても、できるだけハンソロの髪型は死守しましたね。本当にブレードランナーみたいな髪型になっちゃったらやっぱりダメですもんね。
長野さんの絵は油彩なのに本当に繊細でいらして、私も最初は本当に油彩とは思えないぐらいびっくりした思い出があるんですけど、特にジェダイローブを描くときに生地のドレープかなり完璧に表現されているんですけども、このような生地を描くときに気をつけられていることとかコツとかありますか？
そうですね、昔のルークの衣装なんか割とのっぺりしてたかなと思うんですけど、エピソード1ぐらいになってから少しこの衣装にもこだわりが見えてきてたんですよ。でこれはちゃんと絵に表現しなきゃいけないなと思って、で実際この模様とかひだとか描くのって難しいんですけれども、できるだけそこは尊重しようと思って、ひだが見える写真に関してはひだを間隔こそ少し開けてるかもしれない、大雑把に省略してるかもしれないけども、 表現することによってその時代のその質感を表現できるなと思って、細い筆でヒューヒューヒューと描きましたね。
時代のキャラクターでの描き分け、クワイガン、オビワン、あとルークですね、何か描き分けたとかありますか？やっ
ぱりこう密度が違うと思うんで、でもやっぱりこう縦縞のこのひだがどうしても必要になってくるんですよね、その絵にする上で。で、まあなんだろう、そのキャラクターの描き分けまではいかないんですけれども、できるだけその見えるところに関しては細い筆で描きますね。もうドリュース・ルーズなんだったら、絶対色鉛筆でヒュッヒュッと細かくシャシャシャッと描くんじゃないかなと思うんですけど、僕の場合は筆でヒューヒューって描きます。ここに飾ってある原画はもともと描いたのは2000何年ぐらいだろう、8年ぐらい。画集の企画がありまして、スター・ウォーズ画集、僕の集大成の画集の企画があって、それで表紙を書き下ろしをお願いされたんです。で、表紙を書き下ろして、ただ普通にスター・ウォーズを描くのはつまらないかなっていうことで、当時クローンウォーズっていうアニメが公開されていましたので、衣装をクローンウォーズの衣装で、俳優はリアルに映画に出る人物で描こうかということになって書き起こしました。一番メイン後ろにいるのがパドメで、オビーワン、アナキン、アソーカなんですけども、それぞれやはりちょっとそのアニメに合わせて若めにしてあったりとかしてます。
長野さんの本当素晴らしい作品が並んでますけれども、この中でお気に入りのカバーってございますか？
そうですね、どれも気に入ってはいますけどね。
はい、そうですよね。全部。
でもやっぱりニュージェダイオーダーシリーズはね、最初すごく世界観がよく分からなくって、戸惑っていたところもあったのと、ユージャンボングとかこの謎の宇宙船のその雰囲気が今一つつかめなかったんですけど、この時でようやくなんだろう、こう吹っ切れたというか、その映画のようなコラージュができたかなと思ったんですよね。ルークはメインで。で、ルークの写真が良かったっていうのもあるんですけど、やっぱりルークがうまく描けると嬉しいんですよ。
なるほどね、そうなんですね。そうです。
で、色もすごく綺麗だし、まあやっぱりスター・ウォーズで青っぽいイメージが一番強いんですけどね。まあそういう意味ではこのレムナントも青っぽいですけど、これはもう左右対称にこう3人のキャラクターをメインにこう並べて、左右対称であって、なおかつそれぞれ特徴がこう描かれていて、しかも正面顔でもうキメキメのポーズですよね。まあそういう意味ではこれはすごく気に入ってますかね。あとキリック戦争シリーズも割と後半なんですけど、宇宙の描き方とか非常にこなれてきたなっていう印象はありますね。少しもうほぼね、ハンソロとかレアの資料とかもうなくなりかけた頃だったんですけど、でもなんか、自分ではすごくいい構成で描けたかなって思ってますね。
銀河のこう色合いっていうんですか、なかなか今までの色合いは同じなんですけど、ちょっとこうなんていうんですかね、
深みがある。そうですね。で、やっぱりずっと宇宙を描くとあたって明るいとこから暗いところへこう、グラデーションさせていく手法を取ってるんですけど、まあそういう意味でも綺麗にグラデーションができてるかなと思いますね。 でも全部星空ですよね。全部星。
まあ星戦争です。
はい、で全部エアブラシでやってます、これ。星は。はい。
そうなんですね。
点々を。
はい。
で、もともとこの村っぽいのも、すべてにおいてこのここに、こういう今書き始めのサンプルがあるんですけど、こういうあらかじめこう村を作っておくんです。で、そこから色を重ねて、この独特な村を出していくんですよね。
そういう技法なんですね。
まあ全部宇宙、これもそうですよ。この銀河のこれもこの村で作って銀河らしくしています。
この並んでる作品の中で、こう印象深いとか思い入れのある作品とかありますか？
そうですね。今見たらこれがいいかな。これはね、全キャラクター出てますので、これもさっきのレムナントと近い構成要素になってますよ。左右対称で。まあ、
そうですよね。この並び。
で、アルパティンとベーダーで全体的な赤い感じで、すごくこう、スター・ウォーズのこのダークサイドを象徴してるような色合いですけど、まあでも、ここにウォアヘッドとか、モルトルーパーとか、ね、スモトルーパー並べて、その時代の流れをこう表現してます。で、本当にタイトル通りの意味になったかなって思って、僕はこれが気に入ってますね。で、クワイガンジとマラジェドもいますしね。
そうですね。
ここに3票がいます。
かなり人数書いてます
ね。そうですね。はい。かなり。
詰め込み。
やっぱり映画のカバーをかけたのが嬉しかったですよね。特別版で映画の表紙を、書き下ろしてるんですけど。
エピソード1とエピソード2ですね。
エピソード3は書いてないんですけど、やっぱりこういう映画的なポスター的な構成を書くのが大好きなんです。
人がこうね、だんだんと。確かにそうですね。またね、こちらの今の上下感とまたね、感じが違ってて。そうなんですね。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
レベルメンバーでキャラクターコスチュームを作るにあたり、長野さんのカバーイラストを参考にしているものがすごく多くおりまして、まあ私もそうなんですけど、衣装を作るのに足りないものっていうのを、特に横からの視点っていうのが足りなくて、長野さんはキャラクターを横から描いてくださっているので、もうとても参考になっていると、メンバーからも本当にありがとうございます。声がたくさん来ておりまして、これからも世界中のファンは長野さんのアートをとてももう愛していくと思うんですけれども、映画や三国志、あとオリジナルの、ミューズの作品もそうですけれども、できましたらスター・ウォーズの作品も新作も描いていただきたいとファンの方は一度願っております。まあそんなファンに向かって長野さんから最後一言メッセージをいただけたらと思います。
僕がやっぱり最初にスター・ウォーズを見たのは本当に中学高校ぐらいだと思うんですけど、ここからもう40数年、もう世代相当変わりましたよね。で、まあほとんど多分スター・ウォーズ今クリエイティブ側に回ってる人たちはその最初のスター・ウォーズを見てきた人たちだと思うんですけども、まあどんどんその見てきた人たちが新しいスター・ウォーズを作っていって、そうです。まあそれを見た人はまたこう若い世代が育っていって、そういう世代交代をしていけるスター・ウォーズなのかなと思うんですよね。だからなんだろう、その若い世代にも受け継げられるその世界観っていうのはやっぱりみんな大事にしてほしいし、どんどんその見ている人たちもそのクリエイティブ側に回ってなんか小説とか漫画とか映画とか携われればいいかなと思うんですよね。で、そのいいものをどんどん作って、で映画とか小説を書いた時には表紙ポスターを僕に仕事いただければと思います。
はい。
This is Tori Cooper from Sunrider Base. Another comic book I recommend is the Darth Vader comic. It tells stories in between the movies of what Darth Vader is up to, and it adds a lot more complexity to his character because you see that before he met Luke, he really had his own ambitions of, being the most bad if he could be. In this particular story, he's being tested by the Emperor with a lot of Sith acolytes, and he has to basically prove that he is the best of the Emperor's, cronies. And if you really want a good deep dive into Darth Vader's character before he meets Luke, you should pick up this comic book. It's available at any comic book store, and I recommend it. It has great art. It has a lot of action and a lot of drama because Anakin, Darth Vader, is a drama queen. So pick this up if you're interested in getting to know your enemy.
Hi everybody, I wanted to show off a dress that I made inspired by what Mara is wearing in the Vision of the Future and Spectre of the Past books. So I really enjoyed these. These are set after the Thrawn trilogy. Luke and Mara figuring some more stuff out about who they are after all of that. This dress, the actual costume is something that is approvable, but I wanted to turn it into a party dress for things like celebration. So I took the gold armor that she has on her shoulders and I turned that into like a lace type thing, as well as the other pieces on this as well. So something I've really enjoyed making.
And yes, it does have pockets.
Hi, I'm Austin Herbert with Sunrider Base here in sunny San Diego, California. Currently costuming Luke Skywalker, and I'm here to tell you about my favorite book series from my childhood, which was the Jedi Quest novels. They detail the story of old Ben Kenobi training my father, Anakin Skywalker. In his teenage years, they encounter a cult of people who can use the Force but desperately want to, and in order to gain the attention of Darth Sidious, attempt to murder Anakin and Obi-Wan to prove their worth. It's a great series that details the complex relationship between master and apprentice, as well as the growth of Anakin from the bright-eyed boy from Tatooine to the jaded, angry teenager we know in episode 2. So I highly give it my recommendation, and I hope you check it out.
Thank you for donating to Rebel Reads. Your support will eventually be helping children around the world to receive the education they need through the support too of the Save the Children initiative. Thank you.